And now I want to do a live session on, doing this Photoshop stuff, right? So let me just do a few of these. What I do, right? I go command click on this image. So it selects this, right? But I want to actually expand it because Instagram post. So what I did was clicking inverse, right? So it selects the size only. And now I'm going to go fill, all right? And then fill, there's a function here. You go down, four, right? And go content aware. So it fills it in according to how it understands the environment looks, right? So this looks perfect, okay? So I'm gonna do a few more just to kind of show you the flow, right? So sometimes it doesn't recognize doesn't know how to fill it properly. Let's just see if this one does well, okay? Oops. So I'm using like basically like the shortcut, right? If you do, you can see the shortcut here, which is whatever it is, button shift, command, and I. Okay, and then there's also, this one doesn't have a shortcut, unfortunately. So there you go. It looks kind of weird there. I don't really like it. So the fixing is actually to make it bigger, right? So you don't notice the flaws, okay? Now this person is shifted to the left a little bit, but it still looks good. So all good here, right? Okay, and then this one, I'm just gonna do a few of them just so you get an idea how fast this thing could be, right? Okay, and then again, I'm using shortcut to select a side and then fill this in so that I can use it for Instagram easily. I mean, you can use like the vertical too, but sometimes it doesn't look as good, the feed might get cut off or whatever. Okay, so now I'm gonna put in the logo. I'm just gonna drag into it. Okay, so why don't I just start doing this one first? Because the front one's always kind of like just front and center, right? Easier. Oops. I'm gonna just move this over to here. It's not necessary, but I like them to be close to one another. Okay, and then now, usually I just use shortcut, which is Command T, right? But just to show you, it's super easy. Okay, and you position in the middle. For like front shots, usually it's like it just lands right on, and then you just have to double click here, and this pops up. Like I have 3 screens, that's why it hides away sometimes. So I'm gonna press Option and then drag this at the same time. There you go. You see, it kind of blends with the shirt, right? So depending on the lighting and what you feel is right, that's when you will like release it and you press OK, and that's one picture. And there's also this function right here. Click on this image, okay? You're gonna go, there's 3 functions. Auto tune, tone. It looks weird, don't like it. So I just use the short return as a like to redo, right? Just use a shortcut. That's why you see me just popping in and out. Auto contrast, that looks all right. Again, I go back. Auto color, nah, don't like any of them. So okay, that's fine. This is basically done, okay? And now I'm gonna move on to the next one. Okay, at this point, I'm just gonna duplicate it so I don't have to drag in another new one. Or I can do that, okay? I'm just gonna drag a new one in, and I'm gonna, again, I just like to put them together so it's just better for organizing. Okay, and then now you're gonna free transform it to change the size of it. All right, I let go too soon, but that's okay. Now you see, like if this is like that, it's not gonna look real. Okay, let's be honest, it doesn't look real, right? Now you're gonna go to transform and go to warp, and this is how you can make it real. So, you gotta, sometimes if you're like new to this, just gonna have to eyeball it, get used to it. But this, I believe this would look good. But these lines right here, like what I do is like I line up with like the contour of the shirt. So that usually works. But then you can also see that like the fold comes at this angle. Like the body. That's why like you just kind of follow how the body will sit. Again, okay, there we go. Right? Look at these lines. It just kind of comes down naturally. I'm not too sure if this will work, but let's take a look. Okay, the reason why this won't work so well is because this one hasn't been adjusted. There we go. Now it probably can kind of see the outline here. It's most likely going to work. Okay, there we go. I think that will work. And at this point, you double click it, and then you do the blending. Okay, and I don't really like it. I think it's too big for me. I'm just gonna make it a little smaller, right? Again, right? I just use shortcuts to do the free transform, which is Command T. There you go. That looks good to me. Looks very good to me. And now I clicked onto this and just to like explore if there's like a even better lighting. Oh, that looks cool, but that's not what I want. Undo and auto contrast. See? Now you're gonna decide whether you like this one more or the original, you know? So I'm gonna choose the original. Okay, that's perfect. Now we're gonna work on this one. Again, you know, you drag this in here. And this one's a little bit more complicated, okay? But there's nothing we can't do. So you kind of like just put it in the correct sizing and then you adjust it from that point on. So this one, let's take a look. You go to transform and I would say you do like a little bit of, let's just go warp, right? So let's just say you're using, like this one needs to be like basically put in more. Let's see, right? You pretty much have to like play with it according to how the shirt will naturally look. All right. So I think this looks like it's passable. But let's see, look like that, right? This part you pretty much have to get rid of, right? Because it's obviously your text is not going to show like a float like that, right? So now, okay, this part, there's many ways of getting rid of it, but if you are not really good with Photoshop, this is what I would do. I'll just use this selection tool, right? Let me just undo it. I'm gonna actually go to this layer and figure this out instead. Okay. So pretty much like you need to like make sure that nothing goes beyond, you know, the shirt's natural cutoff point, right? So that's why I'm doing this. All right, so I select outside, right? Using this tool, and you see why I'm selecting this layer. Because after I selected this layer, I mean this area, I'm gonna go back here. Oops, it's not this one. Where is it? This one. Shit. There we go. Okay, and then I can use the eraser, right? Oh, see that's the, yeah. So it's gonna come up, this thing gonna come up, says it needs to be rasterized before proceeding. Just say okay. And I'm gonna make this a little bit bigger so it's like faster when I erase them. There we go. Okay. So hopefully this makes sense now, right? What I'm doing. All right. Like it's not perfect, but you know, as these are like gonna be on the mobile, right? Mostly people are gonna look at these pictures on your mobile phone, on their mobile phone, so they won't see it as much. Okay, and then now we're gonna go decrease the opacity a little bit, just to like make it look more real, right? According to the lighting as well. Okay, so I don't know if you're happy with this, you just use it. If not, like for me, I'm a little bit more like I'm a little bit more picky, right? I like to make it look super real. So I just adjust them even more right now. Okay, I think this may be good. Not totally happy about it, but I think it is usable. Let me just put this back here. Right, if it's too sharp, okay, you're gonna go to filter and you're gonna use blur and Gaussian blur, right? And that basically blur out your your logo bit, right? So it makes it look like it's blending in with the picture more. You know what I mean? So it's not so sharp. Okay, so that's basically the gameplay. You're gonna have to decide whether this looks good enough for you or not. I just change this a little bit. There we go. All right, so the last one, I can't remember which one is the last one. Maybe this one. Again, I'll drag it to the very top. This one would be easier, right? Kind of like, because it's more front facing. Okay, it's basically pretty much almost good already, but like you see down here, it doesn't align with your shirt, right? So at this point, I would just use the warp tool. I mean, warp tool, and just like kind of like make it look more natural. So it like it's parallel to the bottom, right? Okay, well, let's see what happens when I release this. Okay, I mean, that's passable. I won't be too picky again because they're gonna be like on mobile. Boom. There we go. And I'm just gonna blur a little bit so it looks more blending with the picture. And then see how down here there's like a little bit of, because we did the content aware fill earlier and sometimes it doesn't get the bottom. So at this point you select these two, right? Command click them, and then you can do the free transform. You can just click OK, and then there. So you hide those little white, like little white part there. But I want to see his shoes a little bit more because I like his shoes. Okay, perfect. I hope this makes sense. Okay, again, right? You can change the auto contrast and see, yeah, it doesn't make a big difference. I'll just leave it at that. Boom.